Welcome to the Bruce and Josh Show for this week. Today we're going to talk about our 5 predictions for 2022 and beyond.
Alright, so our first prediction is interest rates. They seem to be climbing. The Fed has predicted that they're going to push them up a little bit. Right now we're sitting in the mid-4s. And
2.5-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're looking at climbing up as of this week, probably closer to the 5s. And after talking with our business coach this morning, we're maybe going to see somewhere around 6 before they call it quits.
Probably later in the year at that point. But right now we're hovering mid-4s to 5-ish. I feel like based on inflation and trying to kind of get a wrap on that, that we're probably going to see rates certainly well into the 5s, but perhaps 6-ish by the end of the year.
And none of this to be frightening. I mean, compared to interest rates of the past, a 6% interest rate is not bad. But what this does mean is it will affect buying power just a little bit. So your typical $300,000 house, it's going to affect your buying power on that a little bit.
So that brings us to prediction number 2, which is affordability, based on those interest rate issues. So interest rates climbing, but it doesn't yet seem to be affecting the inventory. The inventory is still very tight. Things come onto the market, it's just they're going off the market so quickly that we're not feeling the additions every day. The number of available properties continues to stay very similar, dwindle a little bit. And it's very, very tight. Just to give you an idea, a little over 500 active houses in the greater Pensacola area, both Escambia, Santa Rosa counties, and about anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 sales a month, depending on the month, which means we've got about a 2-week inventory. So it is exceptionally tight. And then the interest rates climbing, what that's doing is it's continuing to increase prices. Interest rates climbing is continuing to increase the monthly payment and decrease the amount that buyers can qualify for based on debt to income ratios. So affordability is definitely tightening. So just know that as a buyer, you are still going to be in a competitive market, but you are either going to have to settle, if you can qualify for it, settle for a little higher payment. You're going to have to bring some more cash to the table if you want to get your payment down, or you're going to have to reduce the amount that you're looking for in terms of a purchase price. Settle for a more, a smaller, more basic house in terms of that to keep your payment where you want it to be.
So that brings us to our third topic, expounding on the tight inventory. So our inventory is not tight because we're not getting any listings. We're still getting listings. It's just that once we get a listing, it basically is selling almost immediately.
In fact, we have 15 personally coming up in the next couple of months. So, hey, for you buyers out there, just know we're about to put a few things onto the market. So maybe give us a call.
If it's priced right, good, clean, move-in ready, or even less move-in ready homes that are just priced correctly, they're still moving. Like that's been our issue with the inventory shortages. Homes are still moving like crazy. Buyers are out there bidding above list and multiple offers. So we're still moving inventory like crazy.
Which I would say should lead us to probably number 4 topic, which is investors within the market. Mm-hmm. So there's probably a 4A and a 4B here, truthfully. So 4A would be Florida is once again growing at more than 1,000 people a day moving into the state. Now, of course, it's a large state, so not everybody's coming to Pensacola. But Pensacola is getting its share of those 1,000 people a day moving into the state of Florida. So That, of course, is continuing to decrease the inventory as more people move in. Even if people are, the interest rate goes up and their affordability goes down, there's still people moving here to take up some of that slack. But the bigger thing is that investors have found this area, the Pensacola area. Whereas for a long time, institutional type investors into housing complexes were focused on other markets. Pensacola's gotten to the point it's on the radar for them. And so we've got, for example, Pace has its first subdivision at the moment that is going to be fully owned from the beginning by an institutional investor that is going to simply rent the entire neighborhood out for rental properties. So there's 125 houses in the neighborhood. It's a New York Stock Exchange investor that's what they do. They buy houses across the country. They hold 50, 60, 70,000 houses in a portfolio, and they buy these neighborhoods from the beginning, and they're total rental neighborhoods for one institutional investor. Pace has hit the radar for that, and that is now happening here in Pace. Pensacola already has a couple of those neighborhoods, so we've seen that in the greater Pensacola area. But that further reduces down that inventory of available houses to local people, because obviously that's a neighborhood that could have had 125 families in it, but it's now going to be owned by one investor. So just know that's still fueling the market. When maybe you hear rumors of interest rates going up and going to slow the market down, there are still a lot of reasons as to why the market is not going to necessarily slow down, which of course ultimately is good news for homeowners, because that means the values will just continue to increase.
So with that being said, our fifth topic, Bruce kind of alluded to it. Pensacola is now on the radar with our population in the metro area growing to close to 500,000 people.
Actually over 500,000 people at this point. Somewhere about 525-ish.
It looks like, we're going to start getting things like better restaurants, more investors coming in, looking at, investing in property, and with those better restaurants, that means more industry coming in, so more job creation and just more growth.
So what I would say as kind of a wrap up to this, these things may sound a little either scary or negative on the surface, but in general, growth is good. Growth means that we're going to have better options for living, quality of life, things like that in the area. We just have to get through that growth, and we have to deal with the inventory issue as the growth happens. So don't take it as totally scary. The big thing is you need a person, a team to help you navigate that market. We're certainly here for that. We've got a lot of experience, a lot of things that we can do to help you actually win in the navigation of the market as a client. Basically an unfair advantage for you because of our experience.
Well, that's it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any other predictions for the Pensacola area, go ahead and put them in the comments. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe, and follow us on social media. See you guys next week.
Oh, hold on. And don't forget our other show, What's for Dinner Pensacola.